The rain-slicked driveway of Sarah's suburban bungalow in Palo Alto gleamed like a black mirror under the sodium streetlights, reflecting my truck's headlights back at me like accusatory eyes. I killed the engine, my knuckles white on the steering wheel, and stepped out into the downpour, the kind of California storm that hits hard and fast, soaking through my hoodie in seconds. But nothing prepared me for the thunderclap inside when the door swung open. Not Sarah's bubbly laugh, but his voice, gravelly and laced with bourbon, slicing through the night. "Adam? Jesus Christ. Is that you?" I froze on the welcome mat, water dripping from my lashes, staring up at the man who'd haunted my dreams for a decade. The broad shoulders filling the doorway, the salt and pepper hair cropped military short, those hazel eyes that used to undress me with a glance now widened in shock. Harlan Whitaker. Coach Whitaker. Sarah's dad. The ghost who'd fucked me up worse than any high school bully ever could. He didn't move at first, just gripped the doorframe like it was the only thing keeping him upright, his flannel shirt unbuttoned at the collar, revealing the faded tattoo of a Marine eagle I'd traced with my fingertips in the dark of his office after practice. "Kid. What the hell are you doing here?" The words tumbled out, not angry, but cracked, like he'd been waiting for this collision since the day he shoved me away and locked the door on us forever. I mumbled something about Sarah forgetting her psych notes at the coffee shop, my voice barely cutting through the rain's relentless patter on the porch roof. It was a lie, of course, half-baked and flimsy as wet cardboard. Truth was, I'd been spiraling all week, dodging her texts about midterms and frat parties, the kind of bullshit that kept us tethered in this fragile normalcy we'd built since freshman year at Stanford. Sarah Whitaker. Blonde. Fierce. The straightest sorority girl who dragged me out of my shell with her infectious energy and zero fucks, given attitude toward my weird vibes. She'd never known. How could she? Her dad was the all-American hero. The widower who'd raised her solo after mom's cancer took her when Sarah was 12. Football coach at our old high school in Sacramento. Volunteer firefighter on weekends. The guy who grilled burgers at block parties and fixed neighbors' leaky roofs without asking for a dime. Untouchable. Straight as an arrow. Or so everyone thought. Including me, until that sweltering August night senior year, when the team had crushed Riverton 42-7, and the locker room adrenaline had me buzzing like a live wire. I'd lingered, toweling off sweat from my quarterback frame, already taller than most guys my age, lean muscle from endless drills, while the others hooped and headed out. Harlan had clapped my shoulder, his hand lingering a beat too long, calluses rough against my skin. "Proud of you, son," he'd said, voice low, and something in his eyes, hunger, maybe, or just the loneliness of a man burying his grief in Gatorade and game tapes, pulled me under. We didn't talk about it the first time. Just ended up in his office, door locked, the AC humming against the summer heat. His mouth on mine was fire and salt, stubble scraping my jaw as he pressed me against the desk, papers scattering like confetti. I was 17, terrified and alive, my hands fumbling with his belt while he whispered, "This stays here, Adam. You hear me? Just us." It was my first everything. First kiss that mattered. First body that fit against mine like it was made for it. We stole moments after that. His truck in the school parking lot at dusk. The bleachers under cover of night. My dorm room when my folks were out of town. He called me champ, fucked me slow and deep like he was memorizing me, then held me after, his breath ragged against my neck, talking about the war he'd left behind in Nam, the wife he'd lost, the daughter who needed him whole. but whole. Bullshit. He was fractured glass, and I was the idiot who thought I could piece him back together. By homecoming, the guilt ate him alive. "This ain't right," he'd growled one night, pulling away mid-thrust, his face twisted like I'd poisoned him. "You're a kid." Fuck, Adam, I'm twice your age." "Sarah's age." "What kind of man does this?" I begged, 17 and stupid, tears hot on my cheeks, promising silence, promising forever. But he shut down, cold as the autumn rain that started falling that week. No more practices together, no stolen glances. Just a note slipped into my locker. "Go live your life, kid. Don't look back." I crumpled it, punched the metal until my knuckles bled, and spent the next decade running from Sacramento to Stanford, from dive bars in the Castro where I'd chase anonymous hookups to numb the ache, from therapy sessions where I'd lie about the family issues that kept me up at night. Now here he was, 10 years later, blocking the doorway to the house I'd crashed 100 times for Sarah's movie marathons and weed-fueled rants about toxic masculinity. "Sarah's out," he said finally, stepping aside like it pained him, the scent of his aftershave, same old spice from back then, hitting me like a gut punch. "Girls' night or some shit?" "Bourbon." I nodded, numb, following him into the kitchen where the counters gleamed under pendant lights, family photos lining the fridge, Sarah in her cap and gown, Harlan at her side, beaming like a proud papa bear. No trace of me, not even in the faded Polaroids tucked in the corners. He poured 2 fingers into mismatched tumblers, his from the core, mine a chipped Stanford mug Sarah had swiped for me years ago, and slid one across the island. Our fingers brushed, and electricity crackled, same as always. I yanked back, heat flooding my face. "So," he drawled, leaning against the sink, arms crossed over that chest I'd mapped with my tongue. "Quarterback turned psych major. Sarah says you're acing it." "Dating anyone?" The question hung casual, but his eyes, God, those eyes, searched mine like he was drowning. I sipped the bourbon, fire blooming in my gut. "None of your business, Coach." The old nickname slipped out, bitter as the burn. He winced. "Good. Fair enough." He rubbed his jaw, silver stubble catching the light. "Look, if this is awkward." "Awkward," I laughed, sharp and ugly, slamming the glass down. Amber sloshed over the rim. "You ghosted me, Harlan. Left me thinking I was some dirty secret you had to bury. And now I'm best friends with your daughter? Drinking in your kitchen like it's fucking normal." My voice cracked on the last word, the dam breaking. Rain lashed the windows, mirroring the storm inside me. He didn't flinch, just met my gaze steady. "I was protecting you. Sarah. She idolizes me. If she ever found out." He trailed off, voice thickening. "And you deserved better than a washed-up vet twice your age, chasing ghosts in a married man's bed." "Widower," I corrected, the word a knife. "And I was in love with you, you asshole." There. Out loud, after all these years. The air thickened, charged, and for a heartbeat, I saw it, the flicker of want in his eyes, same as that locker room night. But then Sarah's key scraped in the lock down the hall, and the moment shattered. She burst in, drenched and giggling, arms full of takeout bags from the Thai place on University Avenue. "Adam, dude, you beat me here, Dad?" Why didn't you text me? She hugged me fierce, oblivious, planting a wet kiss on my cheek. Harlan busied himself with plates, his back a wall. We ate cross-legged on the living room rug, pad thai and spring rolls, Sarah dominating the conversation with tales of her latest Tinder disaster, a bicurious poli-sci major who'd ghosted after one makeout sesh. Men are trash, she declared, popping a shrimp in her mouth. Present company excluded, obviously. She nudged me, winking. I forced a grin, but my eyes kept drifting to Harlan, sprawled in his armchair, nursing his drink, laughing at her jokes but watching me when he thought I wouldn't notice. By midnight, Sarah was yawning, crashing on the couch with a blanket. Stay over, Adam? Guest room's yours. Her voice slurred soft, trusting. Harlan cleared his throat. I'll take the couch. You boys catch up. Upstairs. The guest room smelled like fresh laundry and faint lavender. Sarah's touch. I stripped to boxers, the floorboards creaking under my weight, and collapsed onto the bed, staring at the ceiling fan's lazy spin. Sleep wouldn't come. Instead, memories flooded. His hands on my hips in the cab of that Ford F-150, radio low with Springsteen crooning about Thunder Roads, the way he'd murmur poetry for me. Cummings between kisses, voice rough but tender. The night he'd broken down after a bad game, sobbing into my shoulder about the shrapnel scar on his thigh from Keysan, how he'd never forgive himself for surviving when his buddy didn't. A soft knock yanked me back. The door eased open, Harlan in the threshold, silhouetted by hallway light, a shadow of the man who'd owned me. Can't sleep, he whispered. I sat up, sheets pooling at my waist. What do you want? Harlan. He stepped in, closing the door with a click that echoed like a gunshot. To apologize. Properly. He sank onto the bed's edge, close enough I could feel his heat, smell the bourbon on his breath. I fucked up, Adam. Bad. You were. You are the best thing that ever happened to this broken-down shell. But I panicked. Thought I was ruining you. My throat tightened. You did. Honesty. Raw and bleeding. Coming out was hell because of you hiding, pretending. My folks still don't know half of it. He reached out, hesitant, thumb brushing my knee. Fire. Let me make it right. His voice dropped, husky. If you'll let me, I should have shoved him away. Should have stormed out into the rain and blocked his number forever. But I didn't. Instead, I leaned in, crashing my mouth to his, tasting regret and redemption in the salt of his lips. He groaned, low and wrecked, pulling me onto his lap, hands roaming like they remembered every inch. Clothes shed in a frenzy. His flannel hitting the floor, my boxers tangled at my ankles, and then we were skin to skin, his body harder than I recalled, etched with new lines from years of manual labor and unspoken grief. He moved like a man starved, mapping me with lips and teeth, whispering my name like a prayer. Adam. God. Adam. I arched under him, nails digging into his back, the bed creaking soft as he entered me slow, deliberate, eyes locked on mine. No rush, no secrets, just us, finally, in the quiet of that borrowed room. After, he held me close, heartbeat syncing with mine, fingers tracing lazy circles on my chest. I never stopped loving you, kid. Never. Dawn crept in gray and misty, and as I lay there, tangled in sheets and second chances. I wondered if this was healing or just another scar waiting to form. Sarah's laughter echoed from downstairs, pulling me back to the present. Whatever came next, confrontation, heartbreak, or something realer than I dared hope, I was done running. The next morning hit like a hangover without the booze, sun slicing through the blinds, coffee brewing strong in the kitchen, Sarah's playlist blasting indie folk from her phone. I shuffled down in yesterday's jeans and a borrowed Stanford tee that hung loose on my frame, Harlan's scent clinging to the fabric like a guilty secret. He was at the stove, flipping pancakes with practiced ease, his back to me, muscles shifting under a plain white tank. Sarah perched on a stool, scrolling Instagram, oblivious as ever. Morning, sleepyhead, dad's on breakfast duty, best flapjacks west of the Mississippi. I managed to nod, sliding onto a stool, my thigh brushing Harlan's as he plated the food. He didn't pull away, just shot me a quick glance, loaded, intimate, that made my pulse stutter. "Syrup?" he asked, voice steady, but his fingers lingered on the bottle when he passed it. We ate like a family, or the fucked-up facsimile of one, Sarah chattering about her 10 a.m. seminar on queer theory in American Lit. Can you believe they still skim over Stonewall like it's a footnote? Me chiming in with half-hearted agreements. Harlan grunting approvals while stealing looks that peeled me bare. Under the table, his boot nudged mine, a Morse code of want, and I hooked my ankle around his calf, the contact grounding me in this surreal bubble. Sarah dashed off to class mid-bite, kissing my cheek and ruffling Harlan's hair. "Don't corrupt my bestie too much, Dad." "Adam, text me later. We're hitting the Mid-Penn tonight for that bonfire rave." The door slammed, leaving silence thick as fog rolling off the bay. Harlan turned from the sink, drying his hands on a dish towel, eyes dark with intent. "Mid-Penn, huh? That's where we used to sneak off after games. Remember the ridge overlook? Stars like diamonds. You sprawled in the bed of my truck." I swallowed hard, the memory vivid. Fireflies winking in the chaparral, his body heavy and warm over mine, the world narrowing to the rhythm of our breaths. Yeah. I remember, standing, I closed the distance, hands fisting his tank, pulling him down for a kiss that tasted like maple and madness. He backed me against the counter, growl vibrating through his chest, lifting me onto the cool granite with hands that spanned my hips like they were made for him. We didn't make it far. Pants shoved down, his mouth hot on my neck as he ground against me, friction building like a storm front. "Missed this," he murmured, teeth grazing my collarbone. "Missed you." I came undone fast, gasping his name, and he followed, burying his face in my shoulder, our heartbeats thundering in sync. After, we cleaned up in a haze, wiping counters, stealing touches, until reality knocked via my phone buzzing on the island. A text from my roommate, "Jake, dude, where you at? Practice in 20. Coach is pissed. Shit. Ultimate Frisbee intramurals, my half-assed attempt at staying athletic without the soul-suck of football." I groaned, zipping up. "Gotta bounce." Harlan cupped my face, thumb stroking my jaw. "I serious. This. We gotta talk. Tonight, after Sarah's out." I nodded, throat tight. "Yeah. Tonight." Driving back to campus, windows down to let the eucalyptus-scented wind whip away the sex and sweat. I replayed it all, the tenderness in his touch, the way he'd whispered love like a confession. But doubt gnawed. Was this nostalgia porn? Or something salvageable? Harlan was 52 now, silver threading his temples, laugh lines carving canyons around his mouth. Me, 22, still figuring out if psych grad school or some non-profit gig in the Tenderloin was my path. Worlds apart, yet here we were, colliding like tectonic plates. Practice was a blur, frisbee sailing wide, my throws off by miles, until Jake clapped my back post-game, beer in hand at the campus watering hole. Spill, man. You look like you got hit by a truck. Girl trouble. He waggled brows. All bro energy, clueless about the guy who'd actually run me over a decade ago. Nah, I lied, chugging a IPA that tasted like regret. Family shit. Jake launched into his latest grinder saga. A hookup gone hilariously wrong with a dom top who'd brought actual ropes, and I laughed on cue, but my mind was across town, plotting escape routes from Sarah's evening plans. She cornered me at the bonfire that night, flames crackling in a clearing ringed by redwoods, bass thumping from a Bluetooth speaker. Bodies swayed, joints passed hand to hand, the air thick with weed and possibility. Okay, real talk, she said, plopping beside me on a log, passing a s'more sticky with marshmallow. You've been weird since yesterday. Like, distant weird. Is it the paper? Or is Dad being Dad? He can be intense. I know. My stomach twisted. Intense didn't cover it. More like a 5-alarm fire I'd willingly jumped into. Your dad's cool, I hedged, staring into the blaze. Just old memories surfacing. High school crap. She nudged me, shoulder to shoulder. Spill. We're ride or dies. Remember, you helped me through that breakup with Chad last year. God, what a tool. Least I can do. I almost cracked. Told her everything, from the locker room spark to the kitchen counter this morning. But the words stuck, barbed wire in my throat. Later, I promised, hating the evasion. Promise. We danced then, her leading with wild spins, me following loose-limbed, the firelight painting us gold. For an hour, it was easy friendship's bomb, the kind that doesn't demand your history. But as the crowd thinned, my phone lit up, porch light on. Door unlocked. Harlan. I bailed with a vague early seminar, hugging Sarah tight. Love you, witty, she squeezed back. Ditto. Freak. The drive to Palo Alto was a fever dream. Headlights blurring on the 101, Springsteen on shuffle again. Thunder Road mocking me with its promises of escape. Harlan waited on the steps, a shadow in jeans and a hoodie, thermos steaming in his grip. Coffee. Black, like you take it. He handed it over, our fingers lacing brief. Inside, the house hummed quiet, Sarah's room dark, TV murmuring low in the living room where he'd crashed. We ended up there, cross-legged on the floor amid scattered remotes and coasters, the space between us shrinking with each shared story. He talked first, unspooling the years, therapy after I left for college, coming out to himself in fits and starts, joining a vets group in San Jose where he'd met guys like him, queer and combat-scarred, hiding in plain sight. Took me 5 years to say it out loud, he admitted, voice rough. That I loved a boy. That it wasn't wrong. My turn, the hookups that felt hollow, the pride marches I'd attended alone, fists raised but heart hollow. The night I drove back to Sacramento drunk, pounding on his door only to find it empty, Him at some coaching conference. I hated you, I confessed. But mostly, I hated me. For needing you so bad. He pulled me close then. No heat this time, just holding his chin on my crown. Don't. You were light, Adam. In my dark, we kissed soft, exploratory, tongues tracing apologies. Hours slipped, bodies entwining lazy under blankets. His hands gentle as they learned me anew. The tattoo I'd gotten at 19. A compass rose on my ribs pointing north. The scar on my knee from a wipeout on my skateboard. He kissed them all, murmuring reverence. But dawn brought the reckoning. Sarah's alarm blared upstairs, footsteps thumping. We scrambled, me to the guest room, him to the bathroom, heart pounding like thieves. Over breakfast, she eyed us suspicious, pancakes untouched. You stayed over? Cool. But something's off. Dad, you look wrecked. Adam, you're glowing or some shit. She laughed, but it didn't reach her eyes. I deflected with jokes, but the seed was planted. Driving away, guilt gnawed deeper than desire. This wasn't just us anymore. Sarah hung in the balance, our friendship the collateral. And as Harlan's text pinged, last night was everything. When? I wondered if opening that door had unleashed more than memories. Maybe a monster, too. That week blurred into stolen fragments. A quick lunch at the diner off El Camino. His hand on my thigh under the table. A midnight hike in the preserve. Fucking against a madrona tree. Bark rough on my back. His moans muffled in my neck. Each time, the high crashed harder. Sarah's texts piling up. Miss you. What's up? My grades slipping. Jake ribbing me about my mystery dude. Harlan, meanwhile, opened up in layers. Letters from his dad. A World War II vet who disowned him for not being man enough. The one-night stand with a bar buddy in Nam that confirmed what he'd buried. But cracks formed. One night, post-dinner at his place, Sarah out with her study group, he pulled a shoebox from the closet. Yellowed photos spilling. Me at 18. Blurry Polaroid from the Ridge. Grinning cocky. Ticket stubs from a Giants game we'd snuck to. That crumpled note I'd written him. You're my north. Kept it all, he said, voice thick. Like a fool, I traced the edges, heart aching. Why'd you end it? Really? The age thing bullshit. You were scared of you, not me. He deflated, shoulders slumping. Yeah. Scared I'd drag you down. Like I did her, my wife. Pushed too hard, worked too much. Cancer hit, and I wasn't there enough. Tears tracked his cheeks. First I'd seen. I held him then, rocking gentle, the big marine crumbling in my arms. It was beautiful, that vulnerability, raw, real. But beauty's fragile. The next day, Sarah called during my lecture, voice-edged. Adam, we need to talk. Now. Coffee shop on California Avenue. My blood ran cold. I bolted, arriving to find her at our corner booth. 2 lattes steaming, face pale. I know, she said, no preamble. About you and Dad, the world tilted. What how? Saw the text last night. Your phone lit up on the counter while you were in the shower. Can't wait to hold you again. From Dad. Her eyes welled, betrayal sharp. How long? Adam? How fucking long have you been screwing my father? The coffee shop buzzed oblivious, baristas calling orders, Students hunched over laptops, the hiss of the espresso machine mocking my unraveling. Sarah's words hung between us, a guillotine blade suspended. I opened my mouth, closed it, hands trembling around the latte cup. Sarah, it's not what you. Save it. She cut me off, voice whip-crack sharp. The girl who'd once skinny-dipped in Lake Tahoe with me, now a stranger. Eyes flint hard. How long? Since college? God, was that why you bonded so quick? My trauma dump best friend gig was cover for banging my dad. No! Panic clawed my throat. It started. High school. Senior year. I was on the team. He was coach. It was one thing, then more. He ended it when I graduated. I didn't plan this, showing up at your house, seeing him again. It just reignited. She recoiled, like I'd slapped her. High school? You were a kid. He is my dad, Adam. The one who taught me to throw a spiral, who held me when Mom died. And you let him prey on you? Or was it mutual? Fuck, I can't even. Tears spilled, hot and furious, and she swiped them away, jaw set. I trusted you. Both of you. Guilt crashed over me, tidal and suffocating. He didn't pray. It was real. Messed up, yeah, age gap, power shit, but we loved each other. Still do. The admission burned. Truth I'd barely voiced to myself. And you, God, Sarah, you're my family. I never meant to hurt you. She laughed. Bitter bark. Hurt? This is betrayal on steroids. Does he know you told me? Or is this your way of forcing his hand? Coming out to the fam via Grenade. I haven't told him. My voice cracked. Please. Don't. Too late. She stood, chair scraping harsh. I'm telling him. Tonight. And us? Done. Don't call. Don't text. Just go. She stormed out, bell jingling violent, leaving me adrift in the wreckage. I drove aimless, looping the grid of Palo Alto's tree-lined streets. Radio off, rain starting again in fits. Harlan's place loomed in my rearview, a siren call I resisted until dusk bled into night, the sky bruising purple. Parked curbside, I texted Sarah knows. Storm incoming. Brace. He met me at the door, face ashen, pulling me into a hug that smelled of sawdust and fear. She called. Screaming. Hung up on me mid-sentence. We collapsed onto the couch, his arm heavy around my shoulders, the TV flickering mute infomercials. What do we do? Fight for it. My hand found his, lacing tight. All of it, you, me, her. If she'll let us. Dinner was takeout pizza, cold and congealing. As we hashed a plan, Harlan would talk to her solo, own his shit, beg forgiveness. I'd back him up, no excuses. But as night deepened, words gave way to need, desperate, clawing kisses that bruised, bodies slamming together on the rug, a frantic bid to outrun the fallout. He took me rough, hips snapping, my nails raking red trails down his back, both of us chasing oblivion in the slap of skin and gasped please. Don't leave me, he groaned, spilling inside me, and I shattered around him, whispering the same. Morning brought the axe. Sarah's car wasn't in the drive when I left for class, but her text waited, family meeting. 7 p.m. our house. No bullshit. I skipped lecture, pacing the quad under sycamores shedding gold leaves, rehearsing apologies that tasted like ash. The evening unfolded like a bad therapy session. Harlan and me on the couch, Sarah in the armchair, arms crossed, eyes red-rimmed. She started, voice steady but laced with venom. I spent all day thinking, crying, talking to my therapist. Yeah, I have one. Thanks for asking. Sarcasm dripped. And I get it, kinda. Dad, you were lost after Mom. Horny, lonely vet syndrome or whatever. But Adam, my rock, you two plotting behind my back, turning my home into your love nest. Harlan leaned forward, elbows on knees, face open wound raw. No plotting, baby girl. Started wrong. Me, your coach, him a player. I knew better, shoulda shut it down day one. But Adam saw me. The real me, not the hero act. Loved me anyway. His voice broke. I ended it to protect him from scandal, from me. When he showed up here, old feelings crashed back. Hard. She turned to me, gaze piercing. And you? Why not bail? Tell me? I'm queer adjacent. For fuck's sake. Dated that non-binary artist last semester. I would have listened. Tears stung. I was ashamed. Still am. A little. Thought it'd taint us. You'd see me as the homewrecker. Or worse, the kid who wrecked your family. I swallowed. But I love him, Sarah. Always have. And you. You're my sister. I'd burn it all to keep you. Silence stretched, taut as a bowstring. She exhaled slow, deflating. This sucks. All of it. But I saw you two last night, through the window when I came home early. The way he looks at you like you're oxygen. Haven't seen that since Mom. Fresh tears. Just. Promise no more lies. And Dad? Therapy. Both of you. Together. Harlan nodded fervent. Already booked. Queer vets group. Couples counseling. Whatever it takes. She stood, hugging him awkward, then me, fierce, forgiving. Roomies. We crashed that night. The three of us in a pile of blankets on the living room floor, pizza boxes shoved aside, watching old home videos. Baby Sarah toddling, Harlan tossing her in the air, me absent but woven in now. Laughter mingled with sobs, the first threads of mend. But peace was fleeting. Midterms loomed, and with them, Harlan's past clawed back. A week later, over burgers at In-N-Out, our uneasy trio attempting normal, he got the call. Old army buddy, dying in a VA hospital up in Reading. Shrapnel from the same op that got me, he explained later, packing a duffel. Wants to square things before the end. I drove him north. Sarah kissing us both goodbye with warnings to call every hour or I sick the cops. The highway unspooled under tires. Central Valley flat and endless. Harlan quiet until we hit the foothills. If I don't come back whole. No, I tried. Yeah, for us. Don't talk like that. I gripped the wheel tighter. You're coming back. To me. To her. Reading was dust and diesel. The hospital a sterile maze of beeps and bleach. The buddy, Rico, wiry and wasted, clutched Harlan's hand, eyes glassy. Heard you came out, brother. 'Bout time. That boy in the pics. The one from coaching days. He's the real deal. Harlan flushed, glancing at me in the doorway. Rico wheezed a laugh. Go get your happy, man. Nam took enough. The drive home was cathartic, windows down, wind whipping, Harlan belting Dylan off-key, his hand on my thigh the whole way. But euphoria cracked when we hit the Bay Area sprawl. Sarah's text, emergency. Home. Now. We found her in the kitchen, face blotchy, a letter crumpled on the counter, from Harlan's brother, the uncle she'd idolized, disowning the family. Found out. From some busybody at the VFW. Calls you a pervert. That. Says I'm tainted. She hurled the paper, sobs racking. Why does love have to cost this? Harlan gathered her, rocking like when she was small. Because asshole's gonna asshole, kiddo. But we choose our tribe. You, Adam, that's my blood. I joined the huddle, arms around them both, the letters poison seeping but not fatal. That night, we burned it in the backyard fire pit, flames devouring the hate, stars wheeling overhead. Harlan pulled me aside after, under the oak tree strung with fairy lights Sarah had hung for her birthday. Marry me, he said. No ring, just earnest eyes. Not legal yet, wait. Shit. It is. Since 15. But yeah. You in. Tears pricked. Hell yes. We kissed under the moon. Family watching from the porch. The first real taste of future. Yet shadows lingered. Harlan's PTSD flared. Nights he'd bolt awake screaming jungle ghosts. Me holding him through the shakes. Sarah and I rebuilt slow therapy trios. Pride flag in her dorm window. Me introducing them at a campus queer alliance meetup. But the real storm brewed from within, my fear of the age chasm. His of failing us again. It crested one rainy April evening, post-argument over his long shifts at the firehouse. You're killing yourself, I yelled, pacing our shared apartment, his bungalow now ours, Sarah crashing weekends. For what? Hero complex? We need you here. He slammed the door, storming to the garage, tools clanging. I followed, rain soaking us both. Talk to me. Damn it. He whirled, wrench in fist. You think I don't know? Every siren. I see your face. Scared I'll come home in a bag. Like Rico. Voice shattered. I'm poison. Adam. Always have been. No. I wrestled the wrench away, pulling him close, water streaming. You're home. To me. We fucked in the truck then, desperate and drenched, windows fogging, reclaiming each other amid thunder. After, curled in the cab, he whispered, I surrender. All in. Summer broke gentle road trip to Yosemite, the three of us hiking mist trail, mist kissing our faces like benediction. Sarah met a girl at a climber's bar. Sparks flying over IPAs. Harlan proposed officially at Glacier Point, knee bent with a ring scavenged from his mom's old jewelry. Simple gold band etched with coordinates of that ridge overlook. I said yes, weeping, the valley yawning vast below. But life's no fairy tale. Harlan's health dipped, prostate scare, biopsies and waiting rooms, and in the quiet terror, I saw his mortality, the years he'd outlive me or not. Sarah's internship took her to D.C., distance straining our triad. And me, grad apps loomed, tempting pulls to NYC or L.A., away from this fragile nest. The climax hit Labor Day weekend. Family barbecue in the backyard, neighbors grilling, kids splashing in the kiddie pool, Harlan manning the smoker like a general. Laughter flowed, beers clinked, but under it, tension simmered. I'd gotten the offer. Full ride to Columbia for my PhD, starting January. Prestige, the email gushed. Escape, maybe. I pulled Harlan aside mid-afternoon, smoke curling from the pit. I got in. New York. His face blanked, then cracked, pain raw. That's huge, champ. Proud as hell, but his eyes begged, stay. Guilt twisted. It's a dream. But us. Go. He gripped my arms. Fierce. Live big. I'll visit. We video every night. Fuck on weekends. I both knew. Distance had killed us once. Sarah overheard. Joining. Face stormy. Don't you dare self-sacrifice. If it's your path, take it. We'll adapt. Tears. But promise you'll come back. The party blurred after, hugs too tight, toasts laced with subtext. That night, Harlan and I made love slow, deliberate, memorizing the curve of his hip, salt of his skin, the way he arched whispering mine. Dawn. He drove me to SFO, hand in mine silent. Boarding pass in pocket. I hugged him last, chest to chest, hearts hammering. This isn't goodbye, I murmured. Just. See you soon. He nodded, throat working. Love you, Adam. Always. The plane lifted, bay glittering below, and as clouds swallowed us, I wept. For the boy he'd broken, the man he'd mended, the future unwritten. New York waited, lights beckoning, but my compass pointed home. New York hit like a fever. Subway rumbles underfoot, steam rising from manhole covers, the Hudson's briny tang mixing with street falafel and exhaust. Columbia's campus was ivy-wrapped stone and buzzing mines, my advisor a sharp-tongued firebrand who'd drag me into debates on Foucault and queer phenomenology till 2 a.m. Over diner fries. I dove in, syllabus a lifeline, distractions a bomb. Dive bars in the village where I'd flirt with baristas sporting sleeve tattoos, pride runs along the west side piers, hookups that fizzled fast because nothing measured to the Harlan-shaped void in my chest. We tried. God, we tried. Video calls at odd hours, him bleary-eyed post-shift, me caffeinated in the psych lounge, swapping I love yous and mundane miracles. Sarah's first girlfriend, a poet with locks and a laugh like bells. Harlan's promotion to battalion chief. His first tattoo since the Corps. Our initials inked subtle on his inner wrist. Weekends. He'd fly in, JFK reunions frantic with taxis and hotel sheets, bodies colliding like we'd been starved. Missed your face, he'd growl, hands everywhere, and I'd lose myself in him, the city lights winking approval through the blinds. But cracks spiderwebbed. Time zones bitched his 6 a.m. My 9 a.m. calls cut short by sirens or seminars. Texts piled unread during my all-nighters, his laced with worry. You eating? Sleeping? Guilt gnawed. Resentment brewed. You're married to the job now, I snapped one night, pixels blurring his flinch. Chief Whitaker, saving the world while I save my sanity alone. Not fair, he shot back, voice tinny. This is us building something real. Enduring, felt like erosion, love sandblasted by miles. Sarah visited once. Thanksgiving. Stuffed into my shoebox apartment off Amsterdam. The three of us cramming around a card table with takeout turkey, laughing at bad rom-coms till dawn. "You look good," she said, braiding my hair absently. "Glowing, even. City's suiting you." But her eyes held questions, and when she FaceTimed Harlan later, their whispers carried, "He's pulling away, Dad. Fix it." Christmas. He surprised me, red-eye from SFO, crashing my holiday party in a Morningside basement, flannel amid hipster sweaters, pulling me into a coat closet for a kiss that tasted like pine and promise. "Bought the ring," he murmured, slipping a velvet box into my palm. "Platinum now, engraved north. When you're ready." We made love in a snow-dusted park after, bundled on a bench overlooking the reservoir, hands fumbling under coats, breaths fogging the cold. "Soon," I promised, slipping it on. But soon stretched dissertation proposals, his department politics, her law school apps. Distance calcified into habit, calls to check-ins to silences. Spring thawed the ice, but not us. A conference in DC bridged, me presenting on trauma narratives in queer memoirs, him tagging along post-shift, crashing in my hotel. We walked the mall at dusk, cherry blossoms shedding pink confetti, his arm around my waist casual, unapologetic. "This could be us," he said, nodding at couples picnicking. "Full-time, yeah." But my mind raced. Tenure track? Back west? The ring weighed heavy. A talisman or anchor? Crisis hit Memorial Day. Harlan's text mid-paper. Fire on Divisadero. Bad. Call later. Hours ticked. No word. Then Sarah, "He's okay." Smoke inhalation. Hospital. I dropped everything, red-eye booked, dissertation forgotten, landing in SFO fog-shrouded, heart in throat. The ICU waited sterile, beeps steadying my pulse. He was propped in bed, oxygen mask fogged, grinning weak when I burst in. "Hey, champ." Sarah hugged me fierce in the hall, mascara streaks. Scared the shit out of me. We camped their days, rotating shifts, me reading him Cummings from my phone, her smuggling in and out animal style. In the quiet nights, his hand in mine, he confessed, "Thought I was gone. Saw Mom. Rico. You. Waiting." Tears tracked. "Can't lose you, Adam. Not to Miles. Not to fear." "Then don't." I climbed into bed careful, curling against him, monitors humming lullaby. "I'm coming home. Columbia can wait. Adjunct here. Build local." He shook head faint. "Your dream. Our dream." Kiss soft on his brow. "You're it." Recovery dragged summer, physio sessions in the park. Me commuting weekends, subletting the NYC pad. Sarah graduated cum laude, us in the stands whooping, her girl Jada now beaming beside. Fall. I transferred credits to Berkeley, trading skyscrapers for bay views, the move a ritual. Boxes unpacked to Springsteen, Harlan's hands steadying shelves. Our first night in the bungalow proper, his, mine, ours ending in slow, grateful sex on the kitchen floor, rain pattering approval. Life settled, human scale. Me TING undergrads on identity politics. Harlan drilling rookies with dad joke pep talks. Sarah clerking at a queer rights firm in the city. Weekends barbecues with Jada's fam. Expansive, loud, loving. We married quiet. October courthouse steps. Sarah officiating in a suit sharp as her wit. Jada snapping pics. Rings exchanged. Vows simple. Through fires and miles, Harlan said. Voice gravel steady. You're my north, echoed. Tears blurring his hazel. No biopic ending, no tidy bows. Harlan's nightmares lingered. Therapy a weekly stake. My imposter syndrome whispered in empty lecture halls. Sarah and Jada fought over whose turn for dishes, but made up with poetry slams. Betrayals echoed faint. His brother's silence. My decade of hiding, but we alchemized them. Support group for queer families. A blog I started on cross-gen love stories. Unapologetic. One evening, years blurred, wait, no, months in, but feeling eternal, we drove that ridge overlook. Truck bed lined with blankets. Stars pricking velvet sky. Harlan pulled me close, head on his chest, heartbeat thunder steady. Worth the wait, he murmured, fingers in my hair. I tilted up, kissing his jaw. Every damn storm. Below, Palo Alto twinkled, Sarah's lights on, promising chaos and home. Past opened that door, but we'd built the house. Human, messy, ours. And in the quiet, with his arms anchor, I believed. Love wasn't doorways slammed, but ones held wide.